Missing is directed by Nicholas D. Johnson and Will Merrick, and stars Storm Reed, Nia Long, and Ken Long. When her mother disappears while on vacation with her new boyfriend, June's search for answers will unravel a decade of secrets about everyone she thought she knew. Considering that this is from the makers of and is the spiritual successor of the, I'm pretty sure it was 2018 movie Searching, I should probably tell you all, I loved that movie when I first saw it. I thought it was so interesting. I thought it was so innovative. I thought John Chow's performance was so good. But to be honest, I haven't seen that movie since 2018. So my opinion could have changed slightly, and some of my facts when comparing Missing to Searching in this review could be off. But as it stands right now, I love Searching. Which is why, despite this being a January release, I was actually really excited to see Missing. I couldn't wait to just see the mystery unravel and see the innovation in action with, what is this, 5 years worth of technological advancement in the world of social media and filmmaking. I thought this movie was going to be good. My expectations were waning because of the January release, but overall I did have high expectations for it. And honestly, most of the time my anticipation was met. Both a lot of the good and a lot of the not so good. Let's start off by talking about the good stuff. First of all, the story. Just like in Searching, this is a really interesting mystery, and as the story unravels, you do get more and more plot twists revealing more and more about characters that we thought that we knew, and more about the world that they live in that's similar to our world, and how smart a lot of these characters are in the way that a lot of the website that our main character visits do exist in real life. And a lot of times, yeah, that's cool, but when it's used by the villain of the story, it just makes all of that real technology seem all the more creepy. There are a lot of good dead ends in the movie that lead to a lot of rethinking and a lot of new strategies about their investigation. And as I alluded to before, I thought the framing device and the editing in this movie were so good. Seeing all of these different websites that exist in real life really do ground this movie in reality, and especially the little tidbits that we see from our main character's computer that a lot of us can relate to on some sort of internet level. A lot of those little moments are extremely relatable and do lead to a lot of moments of levity. For instance, our main character has to log into an email account, so she's brought up with the usual picture test, are you a robot sort of thing, and she has to click every single picture that resembles a school bus. So she's clicking through the squares, 2/3 of the picture is just a school bus, and then there's a little tidbit at the very end of the corner, like the little front bumper of the school bus, and she has to decide if that counts as what the picture means. I thought that was so funny, and I actually laughed my ass off in the theater watching that moment. And I can honestly say that my comments about the framing device and the story are really my only two positives with the movie. To be fair, those are umbrella points, and they are big positives. But those are my only big positives with the movie. With that said, what is wrong with the movie? Well, there are some smaller things, like, for one, our main actress, Storm Reed. I didn't think she did the best job in this movie, and I know it might not be her fault because I've seen her in other things, and I know that she can pull off a really good performance. But she just didn't have the intensity that was needed to really just grab the audience into this character. Also, for all of the relatability of the framing device of this entire movie taking place on pretty much just one screen the entire time, there are some little inconsistencies, like for some reason she always has photo booth up and running on her computer just so that we can see whatever scene is happening behind her. And while sometimes that's okay, that happens all throughout the movie. Like, she never clicks out of photo booth. There are a couple other things like that, but again, those 2 points are kind of just umbrella nitpicks. My big problem with the movie is the ending. Oh my god. The ending of this movie is the biggest One Tree Hill soap opera piece of garbage ending I've seen in a while. The minute the first third occurs and a huge plot twist is revealed, I nearly got the urge to walk out of the theater, only to realize there's only a little bit left of the movie, so I might as well just stick it out. And it just got worse and worse and worse. The ending of this movie, without giving anything away, was so stupid and so out of left field in the fact that it is so far removed from any reality being set up in the first 2/3 of the film. Good God. There were people laughing in the movie theater during what was supposed to be an intense climax in this film. That's how ridiculous it was. And it frustrates me because there was so much good, realistic tensity to the first 2/3 of the film. And then for some reason, they just decide to go in this soap opera direction. There's no other way to describe it. The twists in the last third of this movie can only be described as, yeah, you ripped off some soap opera for sure. So, what am I supposed to give this movie? A positive review, a bad review? Because the first 2/3 are good. They have their problems, but they are good. But the last third of this movie nearly destroys every single bit of good intensity and good dramatic story buildup the first 2/3 had. Well, I think I would relate it to this. If there was a blackout in any point of this movie, even during the last third, would I actively seek out this movie again to see how it ended? And I can honestly say, probably? The story and mystery is extremely interesting and always keeps you guessing, and the editing and framing device does ground the story in a good sense of relatable reality. But along with a couple minor flaws throughout the film, the ending is so stupid and so ridiculous. It's hard not to have a sour taste in your mouth by the time the credits roll. Big picture perspective, technically this movie is still pretty good. Minute perspective, the ending. I'm going to give Missing a B-. 2/3 is still passing, I guess, maybe, depending where you are. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below, which do you prefer, Searching or Missing? For me, hands down, it is still Searching. 1, because the ending didn't suck. And 2, not only was the mystery really good, but John Cho's performance truly did elevate that movie's intensity to something almost otherworldly. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. And don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.